Hey everyone, my name is Spencer Bauke and we're here for the solution video for week 46 of Workout Wednesday Power BI Edition. This week we're going to be building the three charts you see down below with Deneb visuals. In week 42, Thijs van der Westhuizen built on one of my challenges from a few weeks prior to that, week 37, built out 4 visuals on top of the 3 that I created for my challenge. Really, really cool visuals. And so we're going to be taking that template, and we're going to be building on top of that. So you can see that this is the visual that I created for this week's challenge. You can see the line chart edition, the dotted line chart, and the dotted line chart with data labels. So we're going to build all 3 of those in this challenge. So let's get to work. So what I'm going to do, Control C and Control V, our number 6 chart here. I'm going to rename this in the title, number 7. So we'll call it line chart. So now let's go and edit this visual. So I am going to utilize a couple different fields. So before we do that, I'm going to go in here to erase this code here really quick. And I'm going to drop in my snippet for a line chart. This doesn't have the right fields right now, so I did just drop in that code. So now let's go over to our values. Let's make sure that we have the right values in here. So in this case, we're actually going to drop in year because we don't need the region anymore. And we still need margin. Okay. So looking at what we have here, we have essentially, a line chart here. And again, we have to kind of go back and map some of these things out. Let's see here. That's why. Okay. So it was right. This is just a reminder to put on the supply changes automatically. That way the updates will come. So as I've said before in my past Deneb video, I am learning with everyone. So hopefully I can help everyone learn here together. So if I had had that on, I would have seen the changes here reflected in the chart. So now, this looks pretty close to the line chart that we want with some very small differences. So one thing that I do want to do is I want to adjust the stroke width, so being the width of the line, and I want to adjust the color a little bit because this is a blue and we've been using kind of like a dark gray the rest of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. I do have some snippets already prepared here. And so what I just did here, under my marks section, is I added a stroke width. And you can label these different sizes. So if I can say 10, it's going to look very thick. And if I say 1, it's going to be a thin line. So I kind of went in the middle. Said 2. And then I added a color descriptor. And again, this is descripting this line here. And I chose this kind of dark gray color. So now a couple other things from the requirements. I want to make sure that my axis is formatted properly. And that my years on my axis down here are horizontal and not vertical. So let's go and fix these two issues right now. So for my y-axis, we can see that we already have a couple descriptors in here with my field and my type. So I'm going to add my axis in here. You can see now that I added my axis and I selected format, and I chose the call out the format of percentage. And so you can see that right here. And now what I want to do is on the other axis, I also want to edit it. So I'm going to go down here to my x axis. I'm going to put in some axis specifications on here. So I pasted in parentheses axis, and then I chose to edit the label angle, make that 0. So for those who don't know, if you make it 90, down, you do 180, it's, flipped like a mirror, 0, you get a horizontal. And then I did mess with the level font size. If I go and click the wrench at the top, it goes and fixes my formatting. And now you have our first visual. So that one is all said and done. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm going to move on to my second one. So now I'm just going to Control C, Control V, go over here, make this 8 line chart with dots. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, since I already have kind of a good base here for this, I am going to just copy and paste and edit a new one here. So there is a couple different things that we have to do on this one. The biggest piece of this is making sure that we add our circle marks to our code here. And we don't really have that right now, right? We just have the line. We have our X and Y coding for that, which is fine. But we don't necessarily have the dots yet. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to actually add a layer. And so in order to do this, what I need to do, let's see. So in order to do this, I'm going to go up after my data set. I'm going to say layer. Now with layers, you actually use these normal brackets, not the squiggly brackets. And so now begins our description of our first layer. And now in this case, our first layer is in fact going to be encoding. We need to encode. I'm actually going to put my x-axis first in here. Oh, I should probably turn on my preview feature because obviously I messed that up a lot. All right. So now we have our x-axis. Let's see, we did the font size. Yeah, we did the label. Cool. Okay, sweet. Now let's close out some of these. Okay. What I'm going to do is this is where we're going to, so what I did is I coded our x-axis here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce our mark, and that is going to be that mark is going to be our circle that we have in here. And so this mark, you can see that I'm identifying this mark. It is a circle type. Size, again, you can size these differently. And I'll show you once it populates, it turning, or the difference between 80 and 10, and etc. So I'll do that here in a second. And what we're going to do is, now that we've identified our mark, we're going to encode this, and this is going to take us to the end, this first layer. Now, what this has done, again, this is all x-axis, but now we're going to have a y-axis right here. Sorry, I don't have my mouse plugged in because I have this microphone. So now we have our y-axis, and we can put in some more things about this y-axis. We have our field identified, our type, and then we want to do a little bit of formatting. And so now that we put in our x and y axis, see that now we have, we have our layer mark. Oh, okay. We just have the circle. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, we do need to, right now we just have the circles, unfortunately. So I am going to put in here our line. And I think I put that in earlier, although I don't know what happened to it, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to fix our formatting. And now you can see that we have our, this is our line mark. This is our circle mark. And this is both displaying the x-axis for those two different types of marks. And then we have our y-axis. So that concludes our second visual, which is pretty cool. Now we have our last one, where we need to add data points, data labels, excuse me, to this line chart. So again, let's copy and paste. Let's make our title, dots, and labels. Let's go and edit this code. And what we're going to do is, we're going to want to put labels on here. Right, so let's go and look at what we actually need to be doing here to do this. And I think it's going to look slightly different than some of the other things that we've just done. So at the end of this circle, right, we're actually going to edit this slightly differently. Oh, yeah, sorry, I did not mean to put that in here. Okay. Okay, so we're back to where we started. Okay. So I am going to format this slightly differently. So what I'm going to do is, I'm essentially going to take our first, I'm not going to introduce the layer here until a little bit later. I am just going to code our x and y first, and let me show you what I mean by that. So first, what I'm going to put in here after data set, and this is going to break it, but I am going to put our X and Y axis. And if you look at this, this is the same stuff that I had put down here, right? I'm just taking this X axis and I'm just taking the Y axis right here, right? And I'm just moving them up a little bit right here. And now what I'm going to call is I'm going to make our layer next, right? And so now you can see that there's this layer. Again, it is a line. It is that same color. So both of these, correct. So we got our mark. And this is where I can take that encoding out. I'm just trying to find where it is and mark it. Great, fantastic. Those. Okay. So now, okay, so we made our layer here. And now, so we added, instead of circle here, or yeah, so, oh, we added in 2 layers. That's probably the reason why this is not working. We'll figure this out in just a second. But anyway, so we have our encoding down to here. We have our layer. We are identifying this as a line, right? And then we have our mark, which is a circle. That's great. Okay. And then we also have to take out this encoding. That's another reason this isn't working. We took that out. And now what we're actually going to do is we're going to introduce this text mark. Here, parentheses, add in a text mark. And all the color and that stuff isn't as relevant. So what we are going to do is we're going to make this, this is going to offset the text just a little bit from our point, which is completely fine. Go here, we're going to hit comma. Then as a coding, this encoding is actually our text here. So what we're going to do is we're saying coding, and then we're going to say text, because this is what we want you to find as our text. And we are going to say, what field are we using for a text? Well, for the field, we're using margin field, format, format. We want to add that. And I'm going to close that, close that, close that mark, close, and then our layer. We don't need these two. Okay. So I have data and we encode. All right, so it looks like this is not working. Let's see what it is. Okay, because it's not formatting issue here. Sometimes that's to do with a parent, having like either like a comma here that shouldn't be here or something like that. So, parse error on line 28. This is all fun. Now you have to parse error on line 30. Okay, I see it, but it's asking me to do. Okay. Go. Now there's probably going to be one parse error on 42. I knew it. Okay. Oh, I see. So this text, when you do this, when you add this field in here, you also need to close it. There you go. And it closes, that closes that. Closes that. Right. Boom, boom. All right. So that I know that was that was a long and winding journey to get there, but we did look through all of our errors and we were able to debug them and understand, hey, we need to be able to close each of these segments. Right. So we are able to find the ones that matched up. And now you can see that we have our bar chart, or excuse me, line chart with our data labels and our dots. So I'm going to have the code available for to just want to do a little copy and paste so you can get those labels. But so that's how you create them. And let's just go in and review that one more time. So our X and Y, margin and year, we're going in adding these layers, right? So this line in the circle, and then we're encoding this mark in here. Text mark, and that serves as the data labels. So I hope you enjoyed this challenge. I hope you're enjoying these suite of challenges with Deneb. It's really powerful. It's a really cool tool. So I'm really having fun learning it and hopefully sharing some of those learnings with you all. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you were getting stuck on your challenge, hopefully this helped you finish it. And if you haven't dove into Deneb yet, I highly suggest it. Go check it out. We have several challenges about it on our Workout-Wednesday site. And thanks again for participating, and we hope to see you next week. Thanks.